Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Toronto Beer Podcast. I really hope this is going to work. This is totally new to all of us, but Sam and I have been working for the past 40 minutes trying to get this crazy ship out from the wharf. So, hey, Sam, you don't have headphones nearby, do you?
I do, yes.
Hey, could you throw your headphones on your laptop just so I don't
Yeah.
hear myself? Because it's actually starting to drive me a little crazy. Hey, everyone who's watching at home. I don't know if anyone is watching at home. I have no idea if this is even working, but fingers crossed. Yeah, if you're out there, we're live, baby. And I'm just going to text my wife and get her to look and see if she can see this. Can you check the Toronto Beer Podcast YouTube page and see if I'm live right now? High-tech solutions to low-tech problems, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Sammy, are you there?
Yeah, my kids seem to have absconded with my earphones.
You know what? Don't worry about it. I'm a big boy. I can manage. So it is 9:34 p.m. and it is Monday night. And you know it's Monday night because it's the Toronto Beer Podcast.
Yay!
And tonight we are joined, as you already know because I've been talking to him, by my friend, and he should be your friend too, Sam, who is the brewmaster, co-founder, God knows what else, up at Sawdust City Brewing in the lovely town of Gravenhurst, Ontario. Sam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man, because I'm in the lovely town of Gravenhurst, Ontario.
I thought you lived in Bracebridge.
I do.
Oh.
It's Muskoka. It's all the same.
Oh, I'm telling them you said that. I just am realizing I'm going to need to plug my phone in. Sorry, guys. Technical details. Okay, let's do the first part of this really quick because then we're going to move into some other stuff. Sure. I know everyone's wondering, hey, Chris, what are you drinking? Well, let me get this guy out here. And my apologies in advance to Sam and all of the good people at Sawdust City. I have not made an order from you guys yet because, of course, it would have to be delivered via Canada Post.
Oh, it's not anymore.
Who do you deliver province-wide through?
Swift Post or Canpar.
Canpar. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'd like to look into that. Canpar is owned by Canada Post, I think, though.
Probably. I'm not sure. Swift Post will deliver direct to your door, though.
Oh, because, all of us goofballs at Canada Post, we're carting it and it goes to the post office. And even though I can jump the line at the post office, it's still inconvenient as hell.
So we that's why we switched.
Okay.
So that was a couple weeks ago, and so now we've gone back to doorstep drop off.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? Knowing that now, you can look for an order coming in from this guy. Just making sure I have everything in my way. Anyway, this is all to say my apologies because yesterday I went to my local LCBO and there was literally nothing from Sawdust. I did complain.
Yeah, it's weird times because we're not allowed to call the LCBO, so we're not allowed to actively.
That's right.
Pursue. So unless they're calling us, we can't do anything about it. Which that's it is what it is, but it's difficult for us to get the sales that we did because we don't have any salespeople.
You're being very diplomatic. I will tell you that sucks balls.
Oh, so. Yeah. There's rantings and ravings. I mean, it's kind of silly. Like they're there. I don't know why we can't just call them.
It's terrible. Anyway, I did tell them that they needed some Sawdust City. So if you get an order,
that's why the numbers spiked this week.
Well, it was yesterday. So anyway, what I did pick up was this guy. Sam, do you know anything about this one?
Is that the lime lager from Amsterdam?
It's Amsterdam's Mexican lime lager.
I've seen some photos.
I thought that this would be a beer that you would probably appreciate.
I would. It would be A great Monday night beer.
It is that. Okay, so really briefly for the kids at home, this is Fria Cerveza Especial, brewed with fresh lime zest. It is a Mexican lager. What does that mean, friends at home? It's a cold yellow beer that's made with a lot of corn, which is what they do in Mexico. Sam, you ever make a corn-based lager?
Yeah, we just released one. Dry
shit,
hop
now I feel-
lager. Now you can order it. It'll get delivered right to your door.
Hey,
Wrap that segment up right there. You go. But yes, we have that one. We've done. We did Curiente Boy last year. But it's something we've been playing with, and our lumber light lagers also, which will become more of a regular seasonal this summer, is made with 30% corn as well.
Nice one. This guy, multi-sweet, a little bit of corn and lime.
There you go.
Quick and dry, and I like it.
When it's 30 degrees outside, that's what you need.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm drinking. What would I drink it with when I'm eating? Obviously Mexican food. This is not rocket science. Make a bloody taco or make yourself a dang quesadilla. It'll go real good. Real good. So we're kind of going to be done that part, because what we're going to transition to, there's a natural thing here, which is, hey, Sam, what are you drinking?
Well, it's Monday, so I'm not drinking anything tonight. I've been trying my hardest, and it's getting harder as the weather gets warmer, to not drink during the week, like Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I made it to Thursday last week when it was 25 and sunny, and I had to barbecue, and I was like, I can't do this. It's too perfect outside. I felt like I was wasting this amazing day. But since basically the beginning of the new year, I've been not drinking during the week, and just because it's this business can get pretty difficult to not drink because it's always there. So
yeah, I myself, I've stopped drinking on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because I knew that mentally I would need to have a beer coming home from work on Monday, because that's just who I am. And it's hard not to look forward to a Friday beer all week.
Right. It's literally impossible. I'm actually thinking about it like basically from Thursday afternoon on. I'm like, man, I can't wait till tomorrow.
I get that on Wednesday. I'm like, I can't have a beer tomorrow either. But for myself, I mean, part of it is my job is really physical, and so I keep in pretty good shape. But I was just aware there's a little bit of, I'm pinching my sides if you're watching this. This spot was just not great. And I know that psychologically it's easier just to shut it down for a couple of days than to say, oh, I'm only going to have one beer each day, because that's never going to happen.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and then the other thing is I find that I have less depression-y issues, which I don't have like diagnosed or clinical depression, but I experience good days and bad days kind of thing. But I consistently experience more bad days if I am drinking regularly. So like a 3-day break, by Thursday, I feel like I've been reset, and then I can depress myself again.
I agree with that. Like I just feel more. I'm more tired, and then I feel exhausted, and then it builds throughout the week if I'm drinking. But if I'm not, I'm more rested. I feel a little bit more pep in my step by the time midweek rolls around. And then I usually destroy all that good work by mid-Friday evening. But it almost feels, it's also a little bit of a catharsis on Friday, just to sort of shut it down and let it go.
Yeah.
And relax. And then, the rest of the weekend is kind of like just have some beers, barbecue, do whatever. But it was certainly, like I was saying, it's a lot easier in the winter when it was cold and miserable and you just came home and hunkered down anyways. But like now that the weather's turning, it's like, man, this is going to be harder than I thought.
Totally.
But it's good. It does. I kind of stopped running there for a bit, but now I got back into it because I'm not as tired in the morning if I just go to bed at a regular time and not
Yeah,
12 beers.
totally get that. So that's impressive. I know a bunch of people in the industry who do, I was gonna say exactly the same thing, but not necessarily exactly, but just taking multiple days off a week where they don't drink alcohol. And I think that's positive.
Yeah, it's been a topic of discussion. I've seen it pop up over the last year or two. I know that Crystal and Tara did some stuff. The Beer Sisters did a topic on it, wanted to talk about it at some of the conferences. It's sort of been brought up, and it's kind of ironic that it does get brought up at a conference because typically the conferences are basically just thinly veiled excuses to get together and drink and pat backs and clap hands. But it is, now that we've been, it's a pretty mature industry now. Like we've grown into this it's well into its second decade, this sort of second wave of craft beer. And as someone who's been around for a while, you sort of feel as an older statesman, not that I'm adverse to sort of letting loose sometimes, but you do feel like you sort of should be a little bit more responsible. And it's a topic that I think will come up more in the future.
Totally. Love that. So that's why Sam's not having a beer. And that's why I'm not having any beer tomorrow. And I'm also not going to lay into it tonight. Like I'll have this Fria and then that'll be it. I did have 2 beers before this. So
perfect. It's a 3 beer. 3 beers is a great level.
I find 3 beers for me is the perfect amount to have before a hockey game. And I mean, playing hockey.
Oh, really? I cannot drink before I play. It just ruins me. So I just save it till the end.
Like, are you a goalie though?
No. Oh God. Oh. No, I feel it just makes me tired. So maybe it's a mental thing. So I just don't, but definitely after.
I find Friday night hockey through the winter, if I can get 3 beers down my neck before I have to go, and then I drink a coffee on the way.
Is that the nice? You're kind of relaxed enough to be good on the ice and maybe make moves you wouldn't normally, like swing loop for golf.
Yeah, you just try things that you've never earned the right to make that move, but you think you can.
The hands are a little bit more supple.
Yeah, at least you think they are. All right, so we were talking about that. We were talking before when we were still testing the thing about what's been going on for you. But why don't we recap that for people watching? So Sam's brewer up at Sawdust City in Gravenhurst. And we were talking and I said, did you gear down for COVID? Did you have to gear up? What's COVID life looking like for you?
Initially we sort of shut it down. Like everybody, we laid off basically like 80% of the staff that first week when everything went sort of sideways.
Yeah.
And then for a week, it was just a handful of us, like 5 people, maybe less, myself and a couple people upstairs. And we were just sort of like, I was just there making sure like the tanks were still crashing tanks, managing yeast, moving stuff around that had to be moved. But then like, the first week went by and then the second weekend, it was like, oh, I guess, beer's still selling. And when they sort of made that first announcement, like, oh, all essential services, I assumed beer would stop. But apparently we were essential. So once that happened, it's sort of like, okay, LCBO's not closing. We're not closing. We're going to have to start moving beer back and packaging again. And, we're not the type of operation where one guy can run a packaging line. So we brought a couple people back. And then as, the momentum kept happening, online sales really hit. People were still ordering beers, LCBO. We're back up to 4 people in the back, which is about 50% of our production staff. And I'd say for the rest of the building, we're around 50% back. But producing, we're not producing at 50%. We're much higher than that. So it's
right.
Everyone's sort of like, wearing a bunch of different hats, just trying to get by because we still have, those high margin retail channels like our saloon and our in-store retail has been significantly hit. And without licensee,
Mhm.
it's a pretty big portion of it. And as we mentioned earlier, as we were talking, not being able to sell to the LCBO, like actively service that channel, it's difficult because when left to its own devices, they're not necessarily the most, it's momentum. It's more like inertia. Like they just stop. Unless
Yeah,
you push that bubble, that soap bubble's going to stop.
I think a lot of people wouldn't realize, but with some exceptions, with like forced sales and stuff, every LCBO is picking their own
Mhm.
selection. And so if you don't have a salesperson kind of regularly reminding them, hey, you haven't ordered any flats in a couple of weeks, do you need anything? They'll just stop
No.
selling.
Yeah. And, a lot of them, it's just the way that they are, this way that they're built. There are so many craft breweries pushing. Like some stores have the ones they know do well, so those ones will continue to go. But salespeople have a job for a reason. They're good at it, and they, sell for a living. And not having them there, it's kind of difficult. So
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to start back up. I don't know why it's not allowed now.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really don't get. Like, give them a week or two to adjust, and like,
yeah,
who
the rest of
cares?
us had to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like our jobs continued. Why didn't theirs?
Yeah, it's weird.
Should probably just calm it down a little bit because it's a point of contention for it's a big part of our business, and when that gets taken away, it's a huge part of our revenue. So
Definitely. Well, friends at home, if you go into an LCBO and you see no Sawdust City on the shelf,
just ask.
find yourself a staff member and say, "What's up? Where's the Sawdust City?"
Yeah, I think there probably is. I can't imagine that the sales at the LCBO are at the same level. Like I personally haven't been back to an LCBO since this started. I mean,
Actually, yesterday was the first time I've been.
yeah. So like, I'm sure we're not the only ones going through that. So
Yeah,
I feel like maybe they're down a lot too, and
yeah. But it's a
all
good way
weird.
to support your brewery if you like a particular one. If you're in an LCBO, remember their salespeople can't have this conversation.
Right,
But you
but a
can.
customer can, yes,
Yeah.
very much so. You guys are our ambassadors.
Yeah. It's time to pay back all that good beer that you've been getting off that brewery.
Yeah,
You
man.
go in and
Do
you
as
sell their
many as
beer
you
for
can.
them. I love it. I love it. Well, okay, we're coming up on 20 minutes, and I normally try and keep these things like less than 40. So this is the big deal. I've prepared you a
Okay.
quiz.
Oh shoot.
Now, I don't know if you listen to a lot of podcasts. It's on paper,
Okay.
many pages.
Holy crow.
I researched and everything. Apparently in the UK, a lot of podcasts are doing exactly this. Bring on a
Okay.
guest and then give them a quiz. I don't know why.
You know what? Maybe I should have been drinking because usually the old brain's firing at a couple different. The synapses are off.
Maybe you could have a different legal psychoactive thing.
Oh, I was doing some Zoom calls in my basement. And I had been sitting behind my bar, and I hadn't sat behind the bar in a long time. And I found this jar, and I'm like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, it's just a jar of weed that's been sitting here for I had no idea how long." Why
It
didn't
isn't one
know
that I
about
gave
this?
you, right? Okay, do you want to do this quiz?
Yeah, man.
Okay, I've got it divided into categories. So we're going to start with beer,
Okay.
and then we're going to transition into other things that sometimes is related to beer.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with history of
Oh shit.
beer. Sam, by the way, do you want to briefly introduce yourself, but your credentials, why you're going to do really good at this quiz?
Oh man, I haven't gone to school in a very long time.
But how long have you been brewing and
I
etc.?
started in 2006. I went to the VLB in Berlin, studied there for a year, came back, and my first job was at Magnotta, then Robert Simpson, Come Flying Monkeys, then Mill Street for a number of years, and I've been at Sawdust since 2011, since we founded in 2011.
There are a couple of things that you just mentioned that are going to factor in this quiz. So
Okay.
just put a pin in some of that. Let's start out easy. This one's a lob. Who were the first brewers of beer? What people, what culture, who was it?
I want to say the Egyptians.
Is that your final answer?
I guess.
Do you want to
The-
know as we go, or do you want me to tell you after?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Incorrect. The answer is the ancient Sumerians,
Oh,
who
okay.
predate
right,
the
okay.
Egyptians. Egyptians did make beer, though. So, no, I was going to give you a half mark, but no,
No,
not
it's
going to
not.
happen. It's okay. By the way, everyone listening right now, feel free to follow along. If you have some paper, you can make notes. See if your score is better than Sam's. By the way, I don't know how many points this test includes yet, because some of these questions have multiple points and stuff. So we're just gonna have to tally it at the end. So, okay. So Sam's 0 for 1. Sam, what is the oldest bar in Toronto?
Jesus Christ. Well, I think it used to be the Wheat Sheaf, but I think the Wheat Sheaf closed last year.
The Wheat Sheaf closed last year for renovations.
Is it still open?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the oldest bar in Toronto?
I don't know. This quiz is for you.
I used to frequent the Wheat Sheaf, and it seemed old. I think I heard that.
Do you want to
before.
lock that in?
Sure.
Correct. It is the Wheat Sheaf.
Okay.
Incidentally,
It was my watering hole for many years. I used to watch many Leaf games there. They had great nachos and really shitty draft.
yeah, it was a pretty trashy sports bar every time I went in.
But I loved it.
I bet. Incidentally, the Old Angel Inn in Niagara-on-the-Lake,
Oh,
oldest bar in Upper Canada.
wow.
Yep.
That's a
I've just
cool
dropped my
spot.
pen. Incidentally, last couple of times I've been into the Angel, it hasn't been its usual self, unfortunately. Anyway, so we've dealt with the oldest bar in Toronto, oldest operating bar in the world. Do you have any idea?
Is it in England?
Close.
I don't know.
No idea. It's in Ireland. And if you just took a random guess, you might have guessed
Dublin?
Sean's Bar in Athlone.
How old is it?
It is believed to have been operating continuously since 900 CE. They did some renovations in the 90s, and they found architectural work that was definitely 10th century.
Holy.
Yeah. It's pretty old.
Good on them.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say it predates Guinness, obviously. It predates lager. Like,
Oh my God.
and I mean by a lot. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. So you are 1 for 3. It's going to get easier. Don't worry.
We'll
These
see.
next two, you're going to hit them out of the park. Okay. Oldest operating brewery in Canada.
In Canada.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly the one you think it is. Don't overthink this.
Molson?
Yep. Incidentally, the second oldest still in existence company in Canada. Do you know what the first is? That's not. I'll give you a bonus point. What the hell?
Hudson's Bay Company?
That's correct. And now, just to round it out, oldest operating brewery in the world. And I'll give you a half mark if you pronounce it well.
Weinstefener?
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know if I'm giving you the half pronunciation point, though. That didn't sound very German.
Weinsteffen?
Weinstefener! You should have shouted it or something.
Oh, yes, crudely and loudly. which is pleasant in German.
By the way, there is more German coming up in this test.
Jeez.
Okay, this is another, I thought, easy one, but we'll see. What is the name of the person is what we're looking for, purchased the Anchor Brewing Company and became known as the father of modern craft brewing?
Fritz Maytag?
You got it. That was good. You owned that one.
So he was the first craft brewers conference I went to in San Francisco. Ken Grossman and Fritz Maytag sat down and had like a fireside chat, and they just did and they had like this release of the this 30th anniversary Sierra Nevada collaboration with Anchor, and they did this Imperial Stout, and it was like one of these moments that I don't think I'll ever forget, where everyone like they handed out a 750 ml bomber to everybody. This is like 10 in the morning. like at the time, the craft brewers conference, which is now 15 to 17,000 people. This was back when there was like slightly more than 1,000, I think 3,000 maybe. It was very much smaller, and we were just in this conference room, and then all of a sudden, you just started hearing it like as they started to talk, this popping, and everybody in the room just started popping the corks, and it was sort of assumed there was this big communal cheers, and it was this big chest swelling moment, like my first sort of craft beer experience as being part of this world, and that was there, and that's why Fritz Maytag sticks out in my head.
That's awesome. I love that. I never met Fritz Maytag because I think he passed away in the early 2000s.
Well, that was 2010.
Oh.
2009.
Is he still alive?
No, it was 2010. I don't know. Oh, I know they sold it.
Fritz Maytag. Still alive.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fritz.
I mean,
he was born in 37. Give me a break. The guy's in his 80s.
Yeah, he was old.
Okay, back to Toronto. Sorry, I know you're from up north, but you've spent a lot of time down here.
I did. A good part of a decade.
There are many streets in Toronto that were named after people involved in the beer scene, particularly hotel owners, which of course were bar owners, and brewers. So, how many can you name? Because you get a point for every one of them. And you can't just guess. You got to tell me.
I honestly, I have no idea.
If you'd read...
There's a whole brewer's sort of alley over by river on the east side. This district, like the brewery district now, has been turned into condos. I know that area. O'Connor? Maybe?
You'd have to prove that one to me. I don't know if O'Connor is. It does sound Irish.
Well, didn't there used to be... Wasn't there a Connor or O'Connor Brewery in Toronto for a while?
Are you thinking of Connor's Best Bitters?
I am.
No.
Okay,
that was Burlington, I think.
Yeah,
nothing?
Nothing.
The Distillery District one was a good idea. I couldn't tell you any off the top of my head, but I would have believed you. Here are some, though. A popular street named after a brewer and a land speculator, Joseph Bloor.
Oh,
Street. Young Street, named after the guy who owned a hotel and brewery.
I could have just said all the streets that crisscross across the city.
That's why I said you can't just guess. It doesn't count.
It would have just been guesses.
Thomas Steele, Steele's Avenue. He owned the Green Bush Inn. Oh. Don't know what she was using that it made it green, but it was something.
Oi.
Anyway, there are others. Okay, so 0 points for that.
That was a poor one.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, how do you feel about Trappist breweries?
I know of them.
Okay, first question. How many breweries are there right now that are certified Trappist breweries? I was blown away, to be honest with you.
There's probably more than I think then.
Yeah, there was more than I thought. Take a guess.
8.
8's a good guess. It's wrong. But I will give you a point for everyone you can name, and a second point if you can tell me what country they're in. So there's a lot of points here. Okay.
Orval, which is in Belgium.
That's correct. My favorite.
Chimay.
Okay. And where is it?
Belgium.
Yep.
There's Spencer in the US.
Very close. It is in the US. The name that I got was not Spencer.
Is it Spence?
No.
Oh.
Same name as a media company here in Toronto.
I don't know.
It's funny. I thought it was Spencer too, now that you mention it.
I have one that says Spencer Trappist Brewery.
Yeah.
I have a glass.
The list I found called it St. Joseph. I'm going to give you the points because that list could be wrong.
West Forletten.
Yeah. And I assume you know where that is.
Yeah. Belgium as well.
Yeah.
Is Marzadeus?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Akel?
Yep. Akel actually has a funny name, but I'm going to accept Akel, and I can't remember what the funny name is.
Saint Bernardus?
No. Good guess.
They're not one?
No, they're not. They're not Trappist.
I think of the glasses that I have. West Mall. Shit. West Mall.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, when you said West Forletten, there should be another that you get right away.
Yeah, West Mall.
And where's that?
Belgium as well?
Yeah, I've given you a tick already. You right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, 6. The one in the what? Le Trappe.
Okay.
Which is the Netherlands, or
that's right.
Is that Dutch?
Yep, it's the Netherlands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got 7 right now. One of them's in the Netherlands, and one of them is in America. So that means you have 5 from Belgium. There's 2 more from Belgium. There's no more in America. There is 1 more in the Netherlands, surprisingly. And the total number, we didn't talk about this, is 14.
Where are they? Are there some in Germany?
Nope, none in Germany.
Huh.
Yeah.
France?
I mean, I don't want to say because if you guess the brewery, then you have to tell me where it's from. But yeah, there's one in France. I'd never heard of it before.
Trying to think. I don't remember who I said and what I've missed.
To be honest, when I looked it up, I knew that there was more than 7. But when I was heavy into the scene, there was 7. And
yeah, that's what I thought. So I added the Spencer to go to 8.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's what I thought.
But
one. Again, like you, I probably would have known more a couple years ago. Like, I just don't follow it the way I used to. Like,
exactly.
I used to be up on this shit. Like, before I went to brewery school, we went to Belgium and tried to visit, but you couldn't visit them all the time.
They weren't like tourist spots.
Yeah.
They're just breweries.
And I mean, I might have forgotten the ones that we tried to visit even.
I've actually forgotten the ones that you said already. And my notes are awful. So it's what I'm going to do. Do you have any others? You got a lot of points.
I can't think off the top of my head.
So from Belgium, I know you did say Westmalle, West Forletten, Orval, Akel. Chimay, exactly. Did you say that one?
Yep.
Okay, good. There's a really obvious one that makes... So Orval is my favorite Trappist brewery. But if you ask me what my favorite like big beer is, like a quad or something, this brewery makes it. And it's not West Forletten, because you did say that. And it's associated with the number 10.
Oh, shoot. See, that's the one oh my God. There's the 8, the 10. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And the 6.
And a 6, which is the brown. Yeah.
And it's at the LCBO, and you can get a really good deal on it. And I actually can't think of the name right now.
It's probably obscene. The last
one. I can't think of the name. I can think of the label. It's brown with the blue diamond in it, and it says the 10. You're killing me. Just tell me.
It's Rochefort.
Oh my God.
And
I
then you
was
did
actually
get
thinking-
Koningshoven, which is La Trappe, out of the
Mhm.
Netherlands. And there's also Zundert in the Netherlands. And then in Italy, Tréfontaine.
Oh.
In France, Mont de Cat. In Spain, it's like Brouwerie Cerveza Cardenia. Cardenia is the brewery. And surprisingly, the most surprising to me, England, Mount St. Bernard.
Wow.
I'm told.
You learn something new every day.
I know. I learned a lot today. Let's get a little closer in history and a little closer to home. What bar is today? September. It's not September. Fuck. What is it? May 25th. Today, this bar celebrating its 9th anniversary, and it's a beauty in Toronto.
9.
It was on social media, so I was hoping you'd seen it.
Oh, you know what? I literally deleted all my social media this weekend.
That was a very wise decision.
I
So-
only went back on because we laid all the staff off. Someone had to do social media, so I picked it back up. And now that we've got people back, I'm like, I got to go off just for my own mental stability.
Relatable. I'll give you a hint.
Bar hop, maybe?
Good guess. Close geographically. It's not the best. It's the...
Oh, first.
I'll give you a
Wow.
tick, even though I sold it to you. Yeah, happy 9th anniversary, Verst. You're
It's
doing
been
great
9
things.
years. They were one of the first people that had us, yeah, it makes sense.
I believe that.
They were Pat and Brim.
Yeah,
Bram.
Bram. Yep.
Oh my God, it's been so long.
Yeah.
They were one of the first supporters, and Aldo, the owner, I think he's still the owner.
I think so.
We did some stuff together. They were great.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I still haven't made it to the Union Station spot yet.
I
which
have.
right
I
now
actually
can't.
I watched the end of the gold medal game for Canada and Russia. The third period, we had my friend and I took our kids to the Hockey Hall of Fame that day. And as we were walking out to go to the Marlies game, we passed by that verse. We're like, let's stop and have a pint. And the game was on, and Canada came back and won.
Nice. I do love Verst. Okay. Another one for you. What brewery has been, quote, making award-winning beer since the last millennium?
Black Oak.
Bingo. That was an easy one, apparently.
Yeah.
I had a good hint for you.
I know. Well, that was very much Ken Woods right there.
That's
in my
exactly what it is. Do you know how many breweries can say that in Toronto? Like 10.
Yeah, right. But I don't think Ken would be the only one to say it. It's his humor.
Exactly. Okay, we're shifting gears away from history a little-ish, man. If you don't get this one, it's bad.
Oh man. See, that's
What?
no pressure at all.
Is the classic beer style from Dusseldorf?
Alt.
Yeah. And why do you know that?
Well, we made an alt for many years, and
Is it still available?
it's actually we were going to bring it back this fall. It's stopped as a core brand. We sort of moved away from the idea of core brands,
Yeah.
as most of the industry has. And but it'll be back. But I was actually just in Dusseldorf in September, and it was awesome to go to some of those alt beer breweries in the Altstadt, and it was great. It was an awesome day.
Nice.
Awesome. It's such a beautiful town too, and it's crazy party town. Friday at 5 o'clock is bonkers in the downtown. Like everyone, everywhere. Just it was so much fun.
That's awesome. I've actually never been to Germany, sadly.
Dude, it was the first time I've been back in 14 years. It was great.
There's a German guy sitting 2 meters above me right now, typing on his keyboard. I can hear him. His name's
Wait,
Nick.
sorry. 12 years. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Here's another one. This should be easy. Who is the brewmaster at Brooklyn Brewing?
Garrett Oliver.
Bonus point if you can name one of his hats.
A fedora?
No, he has names for them.
Oh. Derek.
No, good try. It's like the Crown Prince and some other names. So. Good guy, though.
Yeah, I got to meet him a few times.
I met him one time, and he was intimidating but very cool and smart.
Yeah, he's got a snappy wit.
He does. He also doesn't suffer fools. So.
No.
Okay. This one's a little technical. Now, this is a list. This was from data from 2016. Okay. So you just have to have that in your mind. Okay. Barley. It's the second most voluminous ingredient in beer after water. Yeah. Who are the top 3 barley producers in the world? You don't have to give them to me in order.
US, Canada, and Germany?
So you're 1 for 3.
Really?
Number 1, you need to remember that barley isn't just used for beer. It's also used for vodka.
Oh, so Russians?
Number 1. 2 is Germany. And amazingly, France is 3.
Makes more than Canada?
So the bonus point question is, can you guess where Canada is on the list? It's not 1, 2, or 3.
4? 5.
Just start throwing numbers out. It's 6.
I'm gonna go. Really? I would
I
have
know.
thought we would have more.
Ukraine was 4 and Australia was 5.
Wow.
Weird, eh? That transitioned us nicely, though, to current brewing. So here's some current beer trends, beer stuff questions, okay? Still a little bit of history. This first one's definitely history, if I'm fair. What was the first North American or American style pale ale? And first, again, parenthesis. It's the one you think it is.
Sierra Nevada?
Yeah. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Good. What was
It would
what's that?
it would definitely be like the template for the American Pale Ale.
Yeah. It's possible some other people used local hops and did the same thing, but
that's it. That's the quintessential one.
Yeah, and in the same way, this next question, what was the first New England IPA, or the one that made it a thing?
Like the one in my head, that pops in my head.
It's probably that one.
Well, the first one that pops in my head is Dogfish Head.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have called it that.
60 Minute?
Mm-mm.
I'm trying
That's
to
West
think
Coast.
what else.
Too much early hops.
Huh.
Funny enough, it is not from a state that has a coast.
I'm sure once I hear it, I'm like, yeah, I'd buy that. Throw it at me.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
The can says, "Drink this straight from the can."
Heady Topper?
Heady Topper!
So you were
from The
like,
Alchemist.
You mean like New England stuff? Oh, never mind.
Were you thinking like US stuff?
I was just thinking IPA, like
like a New World,
old timey.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Dogfish Head would have been the right answer in that question. Yeah,
That's
New England.
I was thinking that I didn't even hear you say New England. I just heard IPA, and I was
Oh,
like,
fair enough. Well, and you got it in the end anyway, so you got the point. Hey, closer to home. Who was the 2019 Canadian Brewery of the Year?
was that the last one?
Yeah, last year.
Where was it last year? It was in Toronto. Oh, fuck. I wasn't there. That was the first one I hadn't been to in 7 or 8 years.
I'll
I
give
should
you a
know,
hint.
though.
They make a really, really good porter.
Oh, it's Clifford.
Yep.
Brad. I'm sorry, Brad. I should have known that.
I had a suggestion from a beer writer to ask you this. It's a bit of a silly question, if I'm honest, but we'll see. So I'm going to give you the question. There's 2 potential answers because you'll understand why. There's kind of a tie. But you can also earn a 3rd bonus point if you can guess who got me to ask this. Okay? Who is Toronto's tallest beer writer?
Is it Robin?
Oh, that's one of them. There is a tie, potentially. Although, as the person who got me to ask this pointed out, this person is probably getting smaller.
Jesus. Also, it's an older person.
Mm-hmm. This person has published a few books. It's not Beaumont. I would not tell Beaumont he's getting smaller. I'd be afraid.
I have no idea, man.
It's okay. You don't need them.
I feel so removed from everything. I haven't been.
Well, this person was a lot more active kind of when I was more active too.
I can't.
He likes going for a walk to the ballpark. That didn't
You're
help.
killing me. No, you're killing me.
It's Nick Pashley.
Oh my God.
And can you guess who wanted that question asked? Also a beer writer.
Jordan?
It was Jordan. Good job. 2 out of 3.
I still follow Nick. Well, like when I was on Twitter, I remember his Twitter handle.
Yeah. Notes on a beer mat.
I mean, those like first few years when we would go to Volo and Victory, I guess, and also like Kensington Beer Market when I was there. Like a lot of the places have come and gone, and like feel removed once I moved back up here. Like a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I used to bump into him at Kilgore's and Poppers. That's where I would see Nick mostly.
Oh my God! Do you remember the first time we met?
Excuse me. Don't jump the quiz.
Oh, okay.
I was going to do a different question first, but let's just jump to that. And then we'll do the next one after that.
I was thinking about it today.
Hey, Sam, first question. Where did we meet?
I feel like it was at the Hart House with Troy Birch, and then we went to Einstein's for some pints. That's my first memory.
Funny. Incorrect.
Look, isn't it the Hart House is the place in U of T, isn't it?
That's correct. We had met before that.
When?
You don't remember.
That's my first memory.
Then you're immediately going to lose 3 marks because the first one was where. Although maybe if I tell you, it might trigger the memory. So it was not at Hart House. It was at Volo.
So Cask Days?
I actually think it was one of the other cask events, like the Pale Ale Challenge or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it was Cask Days.
I would if it was an early Cask Days. I mean, there was like they were much smaller affairs.
It's true, but there is a reason why I can remember that I don't think it was Castes, and it comes up in a couple of questions. So we didn't get where.
I see. My memory is that Hard House one and going with Troy and going to Einstein's.
I remember
Like
that, but we had met.
Snap.
Do you remember? Obviously not. And it wasn't Troy who introduced us. You could just take a guess on this one if you want.
John Bauman.
Good guess, but no. It was Ian McCustra.
That's also like, I mean, even Ian, I used to hang out with so much more, and like, you know, not being up here, I don't see a lot of people anymore.
I know. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he was one of like the first people I knew.
Now, with that in mind, that we met at Volo for the first time and were introduced by Ian, that doesn't trigger any memories? Because the next question was what immediately happened after we met.
Probably spilled something on you, or we got drunk or something.
I'm going to give you a mark for that. You didn't spill it on me.
Spilled it on Ian?
No, you spilled it on some random guy.
Oh,
and it was his beer. You knocked it out of his hand and it went everywhere.
That sounds, that story checks out 100%.
That one's true. 1 point. Okay, we're gonna do a quick. This is a kind of lightning.
There's reasoning now why I might not have remembered that meeting
because you were drunk.
So like ergo, did I really meet you?
That's a fair point. That's fair. Good times. One more beer thing, and then we have the associated. This one's quick. Okay, Sawdust City is known for having some really good beer names. Okay. I'm going to list you other beer names and you have to tell me who made it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to start easy here. Life in the Clouds.
Collective Arts.
Correct. Fine Young Cannibal Chickens.
Oh, shit.
They just brewed it a few weeks ago. But you would have to be on social media.
Oh, Great Lakes.
Great Lakes, correct. Stork Derby Stout, named after one of the worst things, yes, it's Muddy York, that ever happened in Toronto. Terrible. Tactical Nuclear Penguin.
Brewdog.
You're killing this round, buddy. Yellow Snow IPA.
Rogue.
That's right. Older beer. Good job.
I was one of the first IPAs I remember having.
Yeah, like me too.
When it was first coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Big old bomber bottles.
Yep. With that classic silkscreen logo.
Yeah, the guy's face.
Yeah. He looked like a guy I used to work with at summer camp. And I mentioned that in a blog post and he saw it. We hadn't talked to each other in 15 years. Weird, eh?
Wow.
Crazy. Pumpkin Drublick. It's a tough one.
Well, it's a No Effects song. Oh, was that like Town Brewing?
Not Ontario. Think more like Rogue and stuff.
Like a Portland brewery?
California.
I don't know who did it. I mean, obviously it's SoCal, but it has to be California.
It was Coronado.
Okay. I mean, I love that record.
Yeah, I know. I'd actually forgotten completely about the beer that was named by it. I looked up a list today. 2 more, and these ones are local. The Chai Walla Has a Mustache.
Wow.
This was a Cask Days beer, and it was very out of style for them at the time.
I haven't been to Cask Days in a long time.
You would have needed to have been there a long time ago. This would have been 7-8 years ago, I bet.
Oh, then I was there.
Here's another hint. I think the oldest craft brewery in Toronto that's still here.
Did you mean that? Wouldn't that be Amsterdam?
I think. Oh, actually, so I might be wrong. You might be right about Amsterdam. Might be the second oldest. But I thought they were.
I don't know. I can't.
It's the granite.
Oh my gosh. Was that a chai porter or chai something?
It was called the Chai Walla Has a Mustache. Chai Walla is a person who sells tea. A walla is a seller of things. So the Chai Walla, the chai seller. Yeah. And yeah, you could probably tell me better. I can never remember if Amsterdam or Granite started first, but they were pretty close.
Yeah, I think
Amsterdam
so.
was 86. I don't
They
know. when
were
the Granite
very.
was. Last one. This is from a now non-existent brewery. So you have a little hint to start with. Also a cask days beer from the same vintage. Worst idea ever.
Oh, that was Stonehammer. And It was George.
Yeah, good old George.
Yeah, George. It was the other guys. It was Matt. Matt.
There was a guy named Matt who worked for them.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just trying to think of who the dude was. They
Yeah.
had the shirts and everything. I remember standing at that Cassidy's. That was one of the last ones I went to. That was a good one.
That
sauerkraut
cast days or
beer.
that beer?
Yeah,
The beer?
the cast days.
Oh, good, because the beer was.
My favorite thing
not
was what
good.
Jeff Roeder said was smells like bad farts, tastes like good farts.
That's fair. Okay, shifting gears. Sports. You like running. You run.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I know much about it.
Well, I got one amazingly complicated question, and I didn't know how complicated it was when I started to ask it. One easy one, and then one that you may or may not know anything about. So let's start moderately easy, go hard, and then the who knows. So there is a world record for the 100-meter dash, the sprint. You can get up to 3 marks if you can tell me who has it, where that person is from, and what their time was. And I'm talking about the men's record, which is the fast one.
Usain Bolt?
That's 1 mark. Where is he from?
Shit. Is he Jamaican?
He is Jamaican. And do you know what the time is?
9:79.
Good guess. It's 9:58.
Whoa!
Pretty fast.
That's so much faster.
And he set that in 2009. It's a 10-year-old record.
Wow.
I know.
I feel like 9:79 was a time like when we were kids, and that's like so old timey now that it's been blown out of the water. I don't know.
I feel like Donovan Bailey set the record at 9:91.
Holy moly, that's so much faster.
I know. And again,
Wow.
nobody's even close right now.
Yeah, he had a good post when he showed the distance and he said social distancing, and it was just him running the race.
Oh yeah, and wasn't he wearing like just shoes?
I mean, it's just crazy how fast he is, though. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Marathon. Current men's world record. So same deal. The person who holds it, their country of origin, and their time. And this is the one that was stupid complicated.
Well, is this like on a track or is this like a real marathon
This
race?
is a recognized real marathon, which is where it gets complicated.
Because like there's the guy that did it, like he ran it under 2 hours on a track. And like I guess that was just to break the record of how fast he could do it.
He didn't run it on a track. He ran it on a
Nope.
street course,
But
but
it
it's
was
a dead flat.
Yeah, like a closed course.
And
that's what
he had pace setters ahead of him to break wind. And they had a car ahead of the pace setters that was using a laser guidance system to pick the fastest route around the roads.
Wow.
That's what it took for him to run sub 2. Funny enough, he is the record holder, but not for that.
I only know this because the guy that when I did run my marathon, the guy that I did it with, Nate, he was much more into it, and he told me, because he would just tell us, when you're running for 3+ hours or 4 hours, there's a lot of time to chew and talk. So
Yeah.
he followed like running blog posts and stuff, so he would tell me stuff, and that came up because I was just in awe of that time. Like, it's insane. Like, we're doing our time and we're watching these guys sprinting going the other way. We're at like kilometer 9 or 10, and they're already at 18, 19 sprinting full run going the other way. Because the one that I did was Toronto.
The waterfront or the city?
The waterfront.
Yeah.
And it's like, people do it to get their times to qualify for things because it's a super fast race.
Yep.
I mean, the speed at which they did it, because there's people in there like in the low 2 hours, and which is like, I can't even fathom that. And but they're running full out for 42.1 kilometers, and like, that to me is just,
where we live
superhuman.
Right now is just immediately south of the turnaround point for the city or the waterfront. I mean, marathon.
You're on the east end. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're right at beach, basically. And when we walk to church on marathon day, normally the elites are just coming around the corner. And those guys at a half marathon point are running faster than I can just run ever.
Yeah, it's incredible. And they're doing that for 42 kilometers. And you're like, that they're superhuman. It's
if
crazy.
I sprinted, they would still outrun me.
As amazing as that was, the one that this lady that I saw that was running the marathon was pushing 2 baby carriages, and she was doing a half marathon. She did a half marathon pushing not 1 but 2 carriages.
It's
and
impressive.
she had 2 friends on either side, like making sure they didn't go off squirrely. But I thought that was equally as impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy.
Okay, so if you don't know, you're probably not going to get this guy's name. So I'll tell you. Idea. I believe it's pronounced Eliud Kipchoge.
Is he Kenyan?
So you get a point for that. To be fair, it was 50-50. He was going to be Kenyan or Ethiopian.
Yeah, I was like, flip a coin.
It's got to be one of the two. You didn't get his name. That's okay. I will give you a mark for his time, which is his world record time, if you can get it within 1 minute.
2 hours and 2 minutes.
I have to give that to you because the record is 2 hours and 1 minute and 3 seconds.
I was going to go 2 hours, 1 minute, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to err on the side of caution and go 1 up because it could be in there.
Now, here's what's crazy. So as noted, that highly technical run that he did, sub 2, didn't count for a world record. The guy who won Boston, I think 2 years ago, did it in a time of 2 hours and like seconds. But Boston doesn't count either because there's too much elevation loss. So it's like running downhill. So it doesn't count.
Oh, wow.
You can't set a world record at Boston, according to Runner's World magazine, which I just read today for the first time.
That seems just cruel and unusual.
But our friend, Mr. Kipchoge, set a world record in Berlin in 2008 at 2 hours, 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Berlin's super flat. Like, I mean, I spent a better part of a year running around Berlin, and it's a nice city to run in.
But I think in the same way that the waterfront marathon, it's flat.
Oh,
but
super
it's not
flat.
Dead flat. There is elevation change.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I was sort of in the center of town, and I could go over to the Tier Garden, which is like a big open empty space. So that's typically where I would go. But super flat.
Speaking of running in Germany, can you tell me, and I can't promise my pronunciation here, I can spell it for you if you want. Okay. What is a Kastenlauf? It is spelled Kastenlauf. TENLAUF.
That's running?
It's a running event.
Is it like where they roll cheese down a hill?
No, that's in England.
Because Casa is cheese. I don't know.
I believe that because Germans love compound words, I believe it's Kasten Lauf.
I think running, like
I think
running. I guess Lauf is running.
yes,
because,
that's
like,
right. Or run.
Because that's the in the louder ton.
It's running.
Yeah.
But so what's Kasten or Kasten?
I don't know.
It is the beer crate run. And in a team of 2, you start with a case of beer. And the only rule is you have to be the first person across the finish line with no beer.
You got to drink it too?
So you and your partner have to drink the whole case, and you can choose where along the route you consume what parts of the beer. Do you drink
That's
it all right
amazing.
away and then run 5K drunk? Do you drink half of it?
Well, I guess you want to loosen your load. Oh, this is strategic.
Yes.
Because those also, you're good. I mean, you got to go to the bathroom at some point if you're drinking.
It's only a 5K or an 8K run, so you should be able to bang it off without going to the bathroom.
You'd think.
You'd hope. I would love to organize this, and I've given it serious thought. Golf course, because it has to be a licensed area.
Oh, you could. And, there's a lot of free space where you might not hurt yourself on a golf course.
It's true. The other thing that occurred to me was the Leslie Street Spit.
Wow, you put a
Food
lot
for
of
thought.
thought into this.
Oh, I know. Okay, I'm losing my mind here. So those are all marked. Okay, you like music, Sam?
Sure.
I believe you're a fan of the classic Scorsese film, not a movie, film, cinema, The Last Waltz.
Okay,
Is that true?
so yeah, the band.
The band, yep. Their
I've
final
seen-
concert from the Winter Concert Garden or something.
I've seen the film.
Okay. As you know, in the film, they have friends join them on stage. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Who sings The Weight with the band on The Last Waltz?
It's a lady.
There is a lady. I mean, you might say she's the lady. I would give you the mark if you could name her, but it's technically a group. This is the hard one of the 3 about the Last Waltz.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen it. My roommate when I lived in Toronto, which is going back to pre-2003, had the video.
Mm.
And that might have been the last time I've seen it.
I actually thought of it because I remember after the session at 99 Sudbury, you remember that year?
Yeah.
You guys did an after party in the venue, and I went. And you guys put the soundtrack from The Last Waltz on and just let it run. And I was talking to Jed. I was like, are you just letting the soundtrack run? And he was like, yeah, man, we fucking love this movie.
Yeah, we used to watch it a lot. I mean, when was that? Like I said, that was not, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, 15 years, maybe 10. I don't know. The answer is the Staples Singers. It was made of Staples.
I knew it was ladies.
Slightly easier. Who sang Such a Night with them? Recently passed away in the past couple of years. Wore a fantastic bow tie and a beret. Still with me, Sam?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. No judgment. It's Dr. John. Mac Rebenak. Dr. John. Last one. Controversial. Who sang Dry Your Eyes?
These are deep cuts, bro. My brother would probably know. He's the music guy.
There was some theories that this person wasn't supposed to have been invited, that there was like a miscommunication. And then when he showed up, they were like, oh, what are we going to do? Robbie Robertson said that's not true, that he actually liked this person and wanted him to be there. Dry your eyes.
I'd like to hear it. Who is it?
Like it's a newborn afternoon. And if you can't recall the singer, can you still recall the tune? Come dry your eyes. This guy is hard as a
rock.
Harder.
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond. I really wanted you to get a mark there. Let's shift into something I think you will know the answer to. Are you familiar with a little band from Kingston, Ontario, called The Tragically Hip?
I might.
You might know something about them.
I might.
I believe you named a beer after one of their songs in an indirect way.
A couple times.
Hopefully, you'll get this one. The Tragically Hip has a song called Fireworks. The opening lyric is...
Back in old 72?
Well, if there's a goal that everyone remembers, it was back in old 72. Who scored that goal?
Paul Henderson.
What's that?
Paul Henderson.
Paul Henderson. That is correct. Bonus point. What album was Fireworks on?
Phantom Power.
Oh, look at that. Confident. Hey, are you a fan of Jack Johnson?
No.
Then we're just going to scrap those questions.
My brother is.
I was only going to ask it because when Mandy and I used to do this podcast together, I would always listen to Jack Johnson while I was recording the podcast. And she would always make fun of me. So anyway, let's try. What state is Jack Johnson from?
Hawaii.
Hey, you got a point. Probably not going to do too well on these next two. What's the name of the festival he started in Hawaii?
The Jack Johnson Journey Fest.
Good try. It's called the Kokua Festival. And the next question was, do you know what Kokua means in Hawaiian?
Jack Johnson.
Close. It means help. So you got a point, though. That's pretty good. A little more historical. Are you familiar? Not are you familiar, but can you tell me the name of the British traditional folk dance that often takes place in bars with a lot of singing and beer, but the dancing itself includes stupid little ribbons, bells, and giant wooden sticks that everybody knows are dicks that they hit against each other's wooden sticks? Do you know what that's called?
What? The Drunken Jig? I've never heard of this.
You should look it up. It's called Morris dancing. It's very beery. Anyway, one question on music that's going to transition us into the last part.
Okay.
And this is a tricky one. I don't expect you to get this, just so you know. Who performed the title theme song for the popular movie Strange Brew?
Who performed the theme song?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a trick question.
Was it Ian Thomas? No.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Ian Thomas.
His nephew used to live down the street from us. Like literally 5 doors down.
I can't believe you got that. People always think it's Cream or Eric Clapton because they have a song called Strange Brew. I fully expected you to say it.
I knew his Dave, the brother, was
Yeah, Dave Thomas is.
and Ian was a musician.
Yeah, that's unreal. Okay, so the next questions are back to film. You'll get half of this one right away. Who are the two main actors in Strange Brew?
Well, Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis.
That's right. What was the name of their dog in the movie Strange Brew?
Barf? No, was it not Barf?
No.
I'm just.
They both say it, and it's printed on his water bowl that they
I'm
pour
looking
beer
at his
into.
water dish.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember.
It was Hosehead.
Hosehead. Well, obviously.
What was the name of the villain?
Brewmeister Smith.
That's correct.
Max von Sydow.
That's right. I'm going to give you a bonus for that. That was great. What was the name of the brewery?
Elsinore Brewery, i.e. Elsinore Castle from Hamlet.
Slow down. Stop jumping ahead. What film does Bob say Doug, quote, had seen like 17 times, eh?
Empire.
Oh.
Was it Star Wars?
It's a Star Wars franchise.
Okay, I thought it was Empire for whatever, but whatever.
It's Jedi.
Oh,
it's Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
I would have pictured that movie. Jedi was like 83, 84. What year I guess this would have been 84 too, right?
I think it was, yeah. Might have been later, 86.
Really?
Sure.
I picture it being that, but whatever.
I can look it up. The last question, sorry, I was talking with the pen in my mouth. You've already kind of answered, so I know you're going to get the points here. What story is Strange Brew an homage to?
Hamlet.
It is Hamlet. And can you tell me for bonus points what aspects? You already mentioned Elsinore.
Well, the bad guy Claude was Claudio.
Yeah.
Uncle Claude or whatever. There was the video game with the ghost, and there was the ghost.
And who was the ghost?
Shit. Was the mom or was the dad? It was the dad.
Yeah. I'm giving you marks all over the place here. That's the main things, is that Claude is Claudio, and the uncle kills the father, and the father returns as a ghost.
Well, I guess they're Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Bob and Doug.
Exactly. Now, this is an interesting thing here. Strange Brew was 1983.
So how did he see Empire? How did he see Return of the Jedi?
I don't know. I
That's why I just picked the closest.
It was also 83, so maybe Jedi
came out
in May. And Strange Brew came out in August. I mean, they did turn around that movie pretty quick.
Hey, whatever.
I don't know. You know what? I'll give you a mark. You had it that it was a Star Wars, so that's good. I'm saying that's a mark. The only thing you didn't get wrong in the Strange Brew section was the name of the dog.
Yeah. And you know what? I should have got that. I mean, again, it's been a hot minute since I've seen Strange Brew, but
you got a lot of marks on the details of Hamlet. Okay, quick little aside, because seeing Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis just tweaked something in my head. This movie has virtually nothing to do with beer. But what was the last movie that John Candy released? Like its cinematic release?
Wagons East or Wagons West?
Wagons East is the second last movie he released. Both were released posthumously. And in fact, Wagons East was filmed last. And they had to use some early CGI because he died while he was filming it. But this movie was filmed before, but it came out after.
I think that might have been my most obscure John Candy fact that I just sort of got wrong. So
Okay, I'll give you some of the people who were in this movie. Alan Alda, Rhea Perlman, Dan Aykroyd.
Is this the one that gets a big, like, it's like that wild, wild, crazy movie from the 60s where it's a bunch of people racing after stuff?
No.
Oh, Canadian Bacon. Shit.
Canadian Bacon. Perfect. Oh, I've just lost Sam's feed here. 1 second.
Oh,
I
my
just
phone.
need to get Sam back.
No,
I'm
no,
calling him right now. We've been talking on the phone this whole time.
It's dead. My phone died.
Sam, pick up. Oh, I wonder if the battery on his phone died and he's running around right now looking for a cable. We have been recording for I just got his voicemail. Hang on a sec. I'm going to send him a message on the text. Plug your... Oh, hang on. Yeah, no, we were talking on the phone. Plug your phone in. Let's see if he sees that. Can't believe he got Canadian Bacon. Love that movie. There's literally one more question about it. And then 2 about something else, and then we're done. Holy moly. Let's try calling him again.
I plugged it in.
I bet he's running around his house right now looking for a phone cable. Although it's ringing now that I think about it. It's not acting like a phone where the batteries died. Plus, he should still be able to hear me on the internet. He should hear me saying this.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I...
Keep getting the voicemail, Sammy. Keep getting the voicemail. Maybe the power went out in Bracebridge. Maybe this is just the spirit saying, it's time. That was a wildly successful quiz. I'm going to tally Sam's marks while we wait to see if he calls me back. So the question is, can I tally corrects and incorrects at the same time? That's going to be a challenge. I'm not even going to try. I'm going to tally the corrects. We're going to do that. So he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 in the history section. In more classic brewing, 1, 2, we'll just mark that here on this page. 2, this is like when they used to mark my math tests. Just throw it down the side and then finish it off in the end. Modern beer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll just write that there. Running, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And music. Yep, his phone is dead. He's just messaged me. That's okay. We're going to shut it down. I don't know if you can hear me still talking. I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm just going to send him a quick message and say, no worries, buddy. I just need to get it to load. Wow, I got a lot of emails while we were doing that. No worries. That was long. So what else have we, well, here, I'll do this too. I'm assuming, I wonder if he's still talking. I'm going to leave him on the feed. He hasn't disappeared yet. So Sam, if you can hear this, I can't hear you at all. You can say anything you want. I'm just tallying your score. You probably knew that because if you can hear that, you could hear all that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That looks like 16. Now just a quick count of X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 X's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. X10 there. And then 1, 2, 3. Sorry, my notes are a mess. 4, 5. Just 5 on that page. 5 X's. So now we can go 5, 10, 7 is 22. And then we can say 16 plus 12, that's 28, 33, 35, 57. That's 57 out of 79 total marks. Sam, you got 57 out of 79 on the craft beer quiz, the first inaugural craft beer quiz. If you wanted to know the last couple of questions listening at home, we were talking about Canadian Bacon, the last released John Candy movie, a delight if you've never watched it. The next question was, who directed Canadian Bacon? Incidentally, his only non-fiction movie. It's only fiction movie, feature that had wide cinematic release. Just before you come chasing me down. Anyone want to guess? Sam, did you say it at home?
No idea.
It's Michael Moore. That Michael Moore. Yeah. And then the last part was just, I was going to ask if Sam was interested in Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings. Because if he was, I was going to ask him in each of those universes to name inns/taverns/bars. How many can you get if you're listening at home? List them now. Harry Potter's a lot easier. I'll tell you that. I only know of 3 bars listed in Harry Potter. So that's a bit easier. Do you want to know what they are? Have you guessed at home yet? The 3 that I can think of in Harry Potter are, of course, the Leaky Cauldron in London. And then the 2 bars in Hogsmeade, the 3 Broomsticks and the Hog's Head. And I suppose I would have given you a bonus point if you'd said Madame Puttyfoot's Tea Shop, which is clearly not a bar. It's a tea shop, but it is also in Hogsmeade. I don't know if they list any other bars. I don't think they do. And I've read that a lot. Lord of the Rings is a lot more difficult because, of course, the Hobbits list many. I did actually look this one up. I knew most of them, but there was 2 that caught me off guard. The ones that I can think of were, of course, the Green Dragon in Bywater. I think there's the Bridge Inn, the Golden Perch, is it called the Last? I have a list here. Hang on a sec. I believe it's the Last, or no, it's called the Forsaken Inn. I'm just going to look at the actual thing I looked up here. Green Dragon, Golden Perch, the Ivy Bush. Couldn't come up with that. The Bridge Inn, the Floating Log, also in the Shire. And the one that I didn't know, the All Welcome Inn, apparently mentioned in the Shire. Never heard of that one. Of course, in Brie, there's the Prancing Pony by Barlam and Butterbur. Very important part of the book. It contains one of my very favorite scenes. Of course, when they meet Aragorn, and he says that to Sam, he says, if I'd wanted to, I would have killed you already. And then he says, but I am Aragorn. And if by my life or death I can save you, I will. That's a pretty good line. Prancing Pony, there's the Forsaken Inn, much further out from Brie. And of course, the old guest house is mentioned in Minas Tirith. Little unclear if that's actually a bar type inn or if it is more of a guest house. There's some debate on the online forum where I'm reading this list. And of course, other people brought up Rivendell because it's called the Last Homely House, but it's not an inn. It's Elrond's kingdom. It's different. So there you have it. Those are the bars in the Lord of the Rings and in Harry Potter. And that finishes the craft beer first inaugural COVID whatever quiz. I want to thank Sam from Sawdust City, who I think is still here because he hasn't disappeared off my screen. But I don't know if I mentioned this, but I haven't been able to see Sam this whole time, which is why I was talking to him on his phone. Sam, if you're here, I really appreciate it. I had a ton of fun. I hope you enjoyed some reminiscing of spilling beer on people. and all the fun we had down here in Toronto. I do appreciate you taking the time out to chat. If you're listening at home, I hope you had a good time. This was a long one, coming up on 90 minutes in 4, 3, 2, 1. 90 minutes. That's a long one. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you had fun. Next week, probably going back to the usual format, but I might try and do this again the following week, hopefully with slightly less technical difficulties now that I've stress tested this with Sammy. And as always, take care of each other. Oh, my voice is going already, eh? Take care of each other. Be good. Order some beer from Sawdust City. Delivering using whatever it was Sam said that's Canpar. Sounds great because my company's not actually delivering it to you. They're making you pick it up. And also what we said earlier, it stands. Go into an LCBO, and if you don't see a brewery that you know should be there, remember, their salespeople aren't allowed to contact the LCBO right now. So you're all they've got. So tell them, I want to see you stock this beer from this brewery, please. And if enough people do it, they might just stock it, which would be fantastic. So you can be a beer salesperson. Wouldn't that be fun? That's all we got, guys. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a fun night, even if it's a late one. And we will talk at you in 7 days.